The following is an exclusive presentation of Jesup Broadcasting, the sports leader in Southeast Georgia.
World famous. The world famous Butch and Bob Show.
And the world famous Butch and Bob Show right here on Big Dog Country Radio, WIFO FM in Jesup 105.5 on your FM dial. Big Dog Country Radio. Butch Hubbard here with you along with Bob Morgan on this chilly Thursday morning, the 19th day of November. World famous Butch and Bob Show brought to you by Murphy Builder Supply, located on Northeast Broad Street in downtown Jesup, and by Nips Car Wash on Highway 301 South, just past McDonald's on the left. Good morning, Bob.
Good morning.
How you doing?
Doing good.
Got that good-looking Georgia outfit that's still on this morning.
Yep. Kayla's on her way, so she'll be here shortly.
Okay, so the basketball coach, Kayla Hobbs, on her way?
She's on her way.
On her way.
Yep.
And we also got Congressman Buddy Carter calling in.
They're supposed to call in about 8:20 is what
About
they said.
8:20. Well, that's going to be pushing it close here then. All right, well, we'll have the congressman on soon, and hopefully the coach will be here soon, and we'll have them on and talk. And it'll be interesting to hear what Congressman Buddy Carter has to say about the impeachment impeachment yesterday at Congress. Some people call it a ceremony, some people call it a wake. Just according to which side of the aisle that you sit on there. But it'll be interesting to see what Congressman Carter says about the impeachment activities that happened in the Congress yesterday on the House side.
Unfortunately, ESPN had a good basketball game last night. Kentucky got beat by Utah, so had to find something other than watching that mess yesterday.
Oh, it's
6 hours.
It's a circus.
Crazy.
It's a circus. It's amazing how you can have almost half the Congress think that he didn't do any wrong, and then half the Congress thinks that he did wrong based on party. And so it's always to say it's not always about the truth. It's what people think the truth is, based on their opinions and their biases and their, and the way they look at things. So, you have two different sets of people that can look at the facts, and one have one opinion and one have another. That's the reason why sometimes you'll have juries. They'll take a look at it, and you'll have 7 one way and 4 another way or something like that. Same way with judges. You can have, like the Supreme Court, where you've got 9, you can have it 5-4, 5-4, 5-4, or in the same way in the state and stuff like that. You got people judge things and base their opinions on their own experiences and prejudices and feelings and things of that sort, a lot of times more than just the facts. But speaking of facts, we do have the fact that our basketball coach is in here this morning. That is a fact. Bob, introduce our coach.
Kayla Hobbs, varsity girls basketball coach, off to a great start, 9-0. Got a tournament today at Wayne County. So coach just wants to come in and talk about the early part of the season, how the girls are playing extremely well, and talk about this tournament here this weekend, Thursday and Friday.
Yeah, I'm really proud of how they've come on so far this year. Like you said, we're 9-0. We've had some good competition as far as Dodge. They're coming off of a 24-4 record from last season. We've beat them twice, and we had a real close game against them. Our most recent away game against them was a 9-point game. We actually were down 6 at the half, and it was a big night for Taryn Ward. She ended up with 41 points. That's her career high, and she tied her career high rebounds with 20. And then Zy Guyton, she received our defensive award last year. She's a junior. She ended up holding their best player to 0 points the second half. So big game for them. They've been up and down as far as who's doing what each night. We're hoping to get everyone on the same page by the time the region starts. But really proud of how they've come on so far this year.
We got the.
I was testing.
That
was just a test, Bob. Making sure it works.
But again, talk about Taryn Ward. Like I said, this is her senior year.
Yeah, Taryn's senior year.
Her sister had a great career, and she's following in her footsteps, having, like I said, career high 41. A lot of excitement. But looking at the rankings, I see where Statesboro region opponent is kind of like right there with us. So it should be a fun region. Oh, yeah, it is. As far as us and Statesboro goes, it's been – between us and them in Ware County, it's been big every year. But this year, we lost last year in the region final game to Statesboro, and it was pretty heartbreaking for the girls because, we went into it knowing that 5-on-5, Statesboro was probably talent-wise better overall. But when we went in their gym and we beat them in overtime, they saw they could beat them, and
following them in the final game really kind of hurt the hearts of some of them that have returned, and so they've made it their mission that we're going to get back to that final game, and they really want to put Statesboro off. Statesboro also has a D1 athlete that's already signed with Georgia Southern, and she's their Terran, and so it's kind of going to have to be a game of who plays better out, not just with your main girls, but your role players as well. Like you said, Terran's sister Tania. When we had Tania in her senior year, and we Mia Height and Monty Trice, Chandler Henderson, Jamar Nixon, that group, they really, by the end of the season, they found their role. And, everyone was able to come together in playoff time and really just do what they were supposed to do. And we're close. We've got girls that are really close. Ajmani Jefferson, she's a junior, and Zy Guyton, I mentioned her earlier. Both of them have had big games. AJ hit 21 the game against Dodge, and Zy actually had 18 points against Brantley County. So if we can get everyone rolling at the same time, I think we got a good shot against Statesboro. They started out with their rank. I'm not sure. Are we ranked 4 right now?
I think you're still 4, and they're like 5.
Okay, yeah,
like 4 and 5.
They're right there with us. They did start out ahead of us.
I see the University of Beaufort still 1. So
yeah, they are.
They're winning everything.
Probably not knocking them off anytime soon.
They recruit everywhere. So
they do. But
we got to figure out how to do that.
Tell us about tonight's game.
Yeah,
we play Claxton today, right?
We do. We have Claxton tonight at 6:30. It's just a small tournament. We have a game at 5 o'clock, and then we'll play at 6:30 against Claxton. And it's just girls. And tomorrow night we will play again at 6:30, and it'll be against Liberty County tomorrow night.
Both games at 6:30.
Yep.
Tonight and tomorrow night.
Yep.
Again, just wanted to get you in here, talk about the season. Like I said, after a great start, who's looking after Taryn? I mean, as far as her, where you see her projected to go next year?
She's had a bunch of calls. The heaviest one that's on my phone every day is Georgia Southern. They want her bad.
Right.
And I think that,
Nice
her decision, obviously, but I think that's a great, if she decides to go that route,
we talk about all the time why Georgia Southern doesn't come get some of these football players. I mean, it's just amazing. I mean, we're right down the road. You think they'd be all over this campus, but we just haven't seen anybody go there in quite some time. So.
And, you're exactly right. And Southern's got a great program. They've got a new coach. And like earlier I said about the Statesboro girl, she is signed with Georgia Southern. It'd be pretty cool to see her and Taryn playing together. But they're heavy on her. She's had Jacksonville State and Furman. She's had a school in Mississippi call, and she's obviously had some smaller ones. She's still hanging on for the big one, but
when you can play like she can, they say it's a career high 41 the other night, 20 rebounds. That'll grab some people's attention.
Very, very, very impressive. She when she wants to play, she can turn it on.
Well, again, appreciate you coming in and talking about girls basketball. Again, the region kicks in after the first year, right? I think January 3rd.
Yep, January 3rd. We play home against Ware County, and that's always a big one for us.
Well, I'm glad you're playing home for this tournament because, like I said, the whole month of December, the teams have been on the road. People ask me that, but you told me that the schedule just flipped. Last year we were at home all December.
Mm-hmm.
This year we're on the road all December.
Yeah, we there were 2 games that we did have 2 that would swap to home, but we had to swap them due to them being scheduled when we were projected to still be playing football, and so we kind of moved those back so we'd make sure we'd be able to support our boys in the football field, and Coach Ray be able to get his players back as well.
And the boys are in the tournament. They're on the road though. They're going to Doherty.
That's right.
Down in Albany, or they're playing Doherty in Albany.
That's
the tournament's in Albany, both today and tomorrow. So they play today at 4:30, I think, against Doherty, and then tomorrow 2 o'clock against Lee County. So, so it's a busy time of year.
It is.
Oh, I know what I want to do. Tell me about the floor. I like the floor. I don't think I didn't like the color.
Oh yeah, the floor. We love the floor.
You love the floor. It looks just too dark. You
think so?
Yeah. Where's the yellow?
Well,
where's the gold?
Yeah, well, most of your collegiate floors have gone to the light and dark tone wood. So that's kind of what we were mimicking, but we love it. The floor, it feels good. We were playing on up until this new floor got put down. There are spots in the floor that there's about 1/8 of an inch different between one board and the next.
Right.
And so there was times when, and it wasn't just us, it was other teams complaining about it and officials that you'd bounce the ball. If you bounced it just right on that board, it was going to go off to the other side.
So is this boards wood again?
Oh yeah, it's the same. It is. It's just it's flat now. It wasn't fun to be playing on until then, but they really came in and did a great job on the floor.
All right. Good deal. Well, again, we'll encourage everybody to come out tonight and tomorrow. Both games 6:30. Again, Wayne County unbeaten, 9-0, ranked 3rd in the state right now. So maybe we'll get that number 1 ranking. Maybe we'll go bump off some Buford people or something.
Hope so. Put in some work for that, but anything's possible.
That's it. Well, they came down there a couple years in baseball. We put it whipping on them, so
That's right.
just like to play them.
So once again, tell us the tournament and who we're playing and so forth and times.
Okay, tonight we play at the high school at 6:30, and we're going to play Claxton.
Okay.
And then tomorrow night we'll play again at 6:30, and we will play Liberty County.
Okay, and this is the Wayne County girls varsity basketball team.
Yep.
Y'all doing good this year.
Thank you.
All right, way to go, Coach. Got them players going.
They're working.
They're working.
That's good. Well, appreciate you coming in. Merry Christmas.
No problem. Merry Christmas. Thank you.
All right, 105.5 FM in Jesup, Big Dog Country Radio. More of the world-famous Butch and Bob Show, including an interview with Congressman Betty Carter live from wherever he's at, Washington, D.C., I guess. We'll have that in just a moment.
Can you find it? The Georgia Dermatology WIFO-FM Big Dog Country Cash Can. Imagine, if you will, a specially marked can hidden in Wayne County, Georgia, worth $1,055. Your mission, should you decide to accept it, find the cash can. Clues to the can's location will be read Monday through Friday live on WIFO at 7:10 a.m., 12:50 p.m., 3:03 p.m., and 5:50 p.m. Shortly after 5 p.m. on Friday, the clues will be posted online at BigDogCountry.com. Purchase necessary. You must be 18 to claim the prize. Complete rules online at BigDogCountry.com. The Georgia Dermatology WIFO-FM Big Dog Country Cash Can. This promo will self-destruct in 5 seconds.
The cash can still going, Bob. This morning's clue, I think, has attracted a lot of people to one certain area.
Yeah, I'm sure they're there.
Oh, so we'll see. We'll see what happened in there today.
Today's when you need to take a linebacker with you. Just
need a linebacker to move people out of the way. Huh?
I think it's there, so make sure they don't come near this place.
Now, when you heard today's clue, did it confirm what you were thinking yesterday?
Pretty much.
It did?
Yeah.
All right. Okay, well, I didn't know if it did or not.
Yeah. I said, I'm surprised nobody found it yesterday, but I said, I'm not allowed to go find it, so I think I got a good idea where it's at.
Okay. All right. Well, the cash can, the Georgia Dermatology and Big Dog Country cash can is still hidden out there somewhere, but I'm sure people are flocking to the area that it's at right now as we speak and trying to find that elusive Georgia Dermatology and Big Dog Country cash can hidden somewhere on government public property in Wayne County. And if you're the first person to find it, you'll win that $1,055.
Someone's going to have a nice Christmas.
Yes, they are.
6 days away, 5 days away if the fun is tomorrow.
All right. Our hotline from Washington, D.C. just rang. Let's see who important person from Washington it is. Of course, we know who it is. It's Congressman Buddy Carter. Hold on a second. We're going to get Buddy in just a moment. Congressman, you there? Okay. We're going on live on the air right now with Bob. Here you go.
Okay, we got Congressman Buddy Carter wanted to call in and talk about the circus yesterday up in Washington. So, Buddy, I'll just turn it over to you.
Well, I tell you, Bob, it was a sad day for America yesterday. December 18th, 2019 will go down as a black eye in America's history. We trivialized impeachment. I'll be quite honest with you. The articles of impeachment that were introduced against this president and passed by the Democrats did not rise to the level of impeachment. And this worries me. It worries me for our country because I see this in the future as coming back to haunt us and being used against future presidents. I mean, listen, it nowhere near rises to the level of actions of impeachment. In this case, the president was not guilty at all. I will tell you, since 2016, since Donald J. Trump was elected president of the United States, the Democrats have been trying to get him out of office. They started with the Russian hoax, and then we went to the tax returns, to his properties, and now they come up with this. Now, look, you know, the procedure sometimes I question, but at the same time, there is nothing here. We're talking about obstruction of Congress. That was not there. And the other article of impeachment that was raised against him, this was just a total sham. was. It was rushed through. We weren't given any rights as the Republican Party was not given the opportunity to raise any witnesses. So it was just a sad day, a very sad day in America's history yesterday.
Why 6 hours? Does everybody have to speak? Is that just the rules, or why did I get 6
that was
hours?
just the rules. That was somewhat different than our normal rules. But then again, impeachment is different. This is only the fourth time we've ever had it in our nation's history. So just a different process yesterday.
Again, it was kind of crazy back and forth, but, I just could get your thoughts on, several of the Republicans compared it to the crucifixion of Christ and the bombing at Pearl Harbor where thousands of people died. Please tell me you're not for that.
No. Look, it's just, I think all along, even the president was thinking at some point the Democrats would pull back and just go for censure, and that would end it. But they kept pushing on, and I think it's an indication, in my opinion. Look, I'm not a Nancy Pelosi fan. However, I do respect her as a politician. She's a seasoned politician. I think what this shows is that she has lost control of her conference. She has lost control of her caucus, that the left wing has really taken over in her caucus, and that's sad. We talk about partisanship up here, and it does exist. I mean, obviously, you wouldn't believe me if I told you it didn't exist. It does exist up here. But I think it's the extremes that have, on both sides, the extreme right and the extreme left, that have pulled us in that direction and caused us to end up where we're at today.
Well, the bottom line is it appears that most Americans could care less. I mean, they realize what it is up in Washington. It's party politics. The vote was simply party politic line. But when you look at what concerns most Americans, I mean, impeachment was like down number 11 on the list of about 15 things. Economy's number 1, of course, and jobs and things like that. So when you travel around your district, you get the sense the same way. Most Americans just really aren't into this, what's going on in Washington with the impeachment.
Oh, there's no question about it. There's fatigue out there with impeachment. I think the people are ready for this to be over with, and ready for Congress and for government to start addressing issues that matter to them, like the economy. I mean, our economy is doing great, and unfortunately, people don't really pay attention to the economy unless it's doing bad. Well, right now it's doing great, and that's a good sign. But there are other issues that we need to be talking about, prescription drug pricing and how we lower prescription drug prices. Yes, we did address that and unfortunately passed a very partisan bill that is going nowhere. We need to do something that's going to have results, and it's going to be handled in a bipartisan fashion to where we can lower drug costs for Americans. We need to be talking about immigration. We need to be talking about health care. We need to be talking about all those issues that, as you suggested, are on the top of people's list, not impeachment. That's number 11 out of 15.
And if you're just joining us, U.S. Congressman Buddy Carter on the phone with us. It's interesting, the elections in November. Most people say, why not just let it go to November? What's funny, though, some people, they saw the vote yesterday and they thought, of course, they came to the conclusion he's been impeached, he's going out of office, but that's not going to happen. The Senate's not going to vote to impeach him, so everybody knows where we're going with this. So why not just, wait for the election and let the people decide in November? Why do you think the Democrats went ahead? You mentioned Nancy Pelosi. For months, she was against impeachment, knowing it was not a good road to go down. No one wants to see impeachment of a president on either party. But why do you think the Democrats pushed it so much?
Well, as I suggested earlier, I think that Nancy Pelosi has lost control of her party. I think it's the left wing that is controlling that party now. And that's a very dangerous situation. I'm not going to kid you now. We struggled with it when we were in the majority, with those to the far right who were pulling us in that direction. And this is just a polar opposite, but it is the same thing, essentially, as to what went on with our party. And, again, it's the two extremes, I think, that are pulling us to the partisanship. And I'm not trying to lay blame on them. I consider myself to be pretty far right as well, but at the same time, there's a lot of room in the middle up here. I'm going to tell you that. There's a lot of room in the middle.
Well, put your crystal ball on, the elections in November. now that he's been impeached by the House, he could become the first president ever to be impeached and win re-election and could win by a wide margin. Who do you see coming out of that Democratic Party? I mean, why can't the Democrats, in your opinion, pick somebody? I mean, if they want to beat Trump, why don't they pick? I mean, they still got 15, 16 people out there running for the Democratic nomination.
Well, they do, and I don't see a viable opponent, to be quite honest with you. You know, the thing that gets lost in this whole situation with Ukraine is Joe Biden. I mean, if you look at this, Joe Biden was vice president of the United States at the time that this took place, with his son Hunter being employed with an energy company on the board of directors there, something he knew absolutely nothing about, being paid $50,000 a month. And should we be looking into something like that? Absolutely. This guy was vice president of the United States. I don't know how he gets past that. He seems to be the most viable opponent up against Donald Trump at this point. I think if you find, you know, Trump versus Bernie Sanders or somebody else to the far left, Elizabeth Warren, then, you know, the choices are quite clear. I just don't see any moderates in there at this point. Biden would probably be the most moderate of the Democrats who are still left right now.
We'll end on a good story, a local story. I understand that beginning in January, you're going to have Mr. Caleb Martin work in your office from Wayne County. And he's up to Dartmouth right now, so tell us how that came about.
Well, obviously, we're always looking for interns in our office from the district, and we've had, in fact, my first pharmacy fellow was from Jesup in Wayne County. He was a student up at the University of Georgia, and we're always looking for interns throughout the first district to work in our office, and we found another good one here. Obviously, a very intelligent and bright young man, and we're looking forward to having him in the office. And I would encourage anyone out there who has an interest in working up here. Listen, that's a great experience, and we want you up here. We want to make those opportunities available for students throughout the first district, and we've got so many fine students all through the district that you know, we want to make this opportunity available to them.
Yeah, you're going to get a great young man. Caleb's a great kid. And tell us what's your holidays plans, buddy? You going to be here around the district? Going to spend some time with the family? Got any trips planned? What's the holiday plans for Buddy Carter?
Well, I hopefully get to come home this afternoon, and I am really looking forward to being home. And we've got our middle son and daughter-in-law and new grandbaby. She just turned one, or at the house, or going to be at the house this afternoon, so they'll be with us this weekend. And then we'll be with our youngest son and his new bride the next weekend, and then over New Year's we'll be with the grandbabies in Charlottesville. But you know, both Amy and I have got aging parents, and we're going to be spending this Christmas probably with them more so than with our immediate family. It just, you know how it is when they get married off. You only get them every other year, but we'll still be able to see them, just not right at Christmas.
We want to wish you a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and you're not going to New Orleans to see the Dogs game, are you?
I don't think that's where my middle son lives, is New Orleans. We were there last weekend, and they're going to be here this weekend, so I'm not sure we're going to make it down there.
I got you. Well, I'm just glad the impeachment's over because, you know, personally it's affecting my soap opera. You know, need my soap opera back on air, you know, so I'm just glad it's over. I mean, come on. We got, you know, Cliffhanger Friday coming up. I'm just glad it's over with.
I'll be sure to let everybody up here know that.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Congressman.
You got priorities here.
There you go.
You don't mess around with people's entertainment.
There you go. Well, buddy, I appreciate you calling in. Like I said, we read your statement that you made on the House floor today on the local news. I thought it was a pretty nice statement. Just talked about how it's, you know, it's really taken away what could be done. Let me ask you one more thing. We had you here. You were hoping things would get done, like infrastructure. Where's the infrastructure at? Is that going to be possibly get done now that this is over with?
Well, you know, I'll be quite honest with you. I consider myself to be an optimistic person, but I'm not very optimistic that we're going to get a whole lot done in a bipartisan fashion before November, just because of the presidential elections. Now, today we are voting on USMCA today, which is the trade agreement, NAFTA 2.0, if you will. And that is something that, you know, is bipartisan and that is good for all Americans. So we are getting things done, and I still remain optimistic that we're going to be able to do something about infrastructure because we sure do need it.
Okay.
Congressman, I've got one question for you. I know that I've heard some things on the radio news from Fox News Radio about Nancy Pelosi maybe holding up the impeachment papers to send them to the Senate unless they basically do what she wants them to do when it comes to procedure there in the Senate, like she's wanting to run the House as she is. Now she's wanting to influence the Senate. How do you think that's going to go, and how do you think McConnell can take that?
You know, I'm glad you asked that because not 5 minutes before I called in, I was talking to some of my colleagues here in the gym about it. And, you know, what is she thinking here? And I was talking to one of the representatives from Kentucky who, of course, knows Senator McConnell well. And he said she can hold it all she wants, but he is not budging. I can just tell you that.
Okay.
So I don't know why she would be holding up the articles of impeachment, because if she thinks she's going to be able to influence Mitch McConnell, she better think again. She's not going to be able to.
Well, I know that the president thinks that once it goes to trial like this, and that he's able to present his side, that which he wasn't able to in the House, that light will be shown on exactly what was going on.
That's exactly right.
Okay. Well, Congressman, we wish you and yours a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. We appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule to call in here to the world-famous Butch and Bob Show. You're always welcome here on the show, and we look forward to talking to you early next year.
Well, thank y'all, and Merry Christmas to all y'all.
Okay, take care. All right, WIFO 105.5 FM in Jesup. And Bob, any final comments or
No, we just appreciate him calling in. You know, the vote was yesterday. It's good to hear from him today. So we appreciate him, his office reaching out to us and have him on the show here this morning. So again, as you mentioned, we hope to have him after the first year. He is in a re-election year.
Right.
He's got two people on his own party running against him, and he's got some Democrats running against him. So we look forward to having him in the studio after the first of the year.
Okay, Bob. Have a good day. All right, the world-famous Butch and Bob Show brought to you by Nips Car Wash, located on Highway 301 South, just past McDonald's there on the left-hand side, and by Murphy Builder Supply, located on Northeast Broad Street in downtown Jesup, with the builders by Murphy Builder Supply, just down from the big red caboose.
The world famous Butch and Bob Show.